I let my wife know that on the 30th, I'd be heading out of town to fire up the grill for the holidays. I planned to take along the TV and the music center, turn on the fridge at the dacha, and tidy up a bit after the winter. I promised to be back by the evening of the 2nd, partly because a colleague was celebrating his birthday at work that day. My plan was to drop off our 5-year-old daughter at my mother-in-law's place before heading out. But as luck would have it, on the way there, my car's engine sputtered to a stop. I tried everything to get it running again, but nothing worked. Eventually, I had to push it out of the way and park it near the end of the building. Frustrated, I decided to deal with it in the morning and call a friend to help tow it to the shop. As the evening dragged on, the clock ticked past 10 p.m., then 11 p.m., and my worry began to grow. My wife still wasn't home. I tried calling her, but she didn't answer. Midnight rolled around, and there was still no sign of her. Feeling uneasy, I stepped out onto the balcony for a smoke, letting my thoughts swirl in the cool night air. After finishing the cigarette, I finally decided to head to bed. Just as I was about to turn in, I heard the front door creak open. My wife had finally come back. Relieved but also curious, I was on my way to greet her in the hallway when something stopped me cold. She wasn't alone. I stepped back quietly, returning to the balcony instead of confronting her. From there, I could hear them shuffle into the bedroom. They were moving fast, their clothes hitting the floor in a rush. My chest tightened, and every passing second felt heavier than the last as I stood there, barely keeping myself together. When her voice broke through the tense silence, I couldn't hold back any longer. Calm but firm, I walked into the bedroom and said, "Should I hold the candle for you, or would you prefer I join in as the third?" The shock on her face was almost comical. She shoved the man away and scrambled off the bed. The guy, clearly drunk and fumbling, mumbled something about having had too much to drink before awkwardly apologizing. My wife, however, made everything infinitely worse when she blurted out, "It was barely anything. He didn't even have time to finish." That was the final straw. As I stood there wondering if I should have confronted them sooner, the man wasted no time slipping out without another word. My wife, desperate to explain herself, tried to justify what had happened, but her excuses only deepened the betrayal. She spent the entire night pacing back and forth between the bedroom and the hallway, muttering, "I'm sorry, I only love you. I truly regret everything." Her voice echoed like a broken record, but her words rang hollow. By morning, I had reached my breaking point. I lost my temper, something I rarely do, and yelled at her to leave me alone. "Just go," I snapped, barely able to keep my composure. I even swore, something so out of character for me that it startled even me. Later that morning, around 11 a.m., her friend Haley called. It was Haley's birthday, and she asked how my wife was doing. She casually mentioned that her younger brother had brought my wife home the night before, safe and sound. That caught me off guard. I forced a nervous laugh and replied, "I didn't know you had a younger brother." Haley, trying to mask the tension, joked, "Well, he certainly wrapped her up with a pink ribbon and delivered her like a gift." Haley didn't seem to pick up on my tone, and apparently, her brother hadn't mentioned a thing about what happened. It wasn't until later that I learned her younger brother was just 18 years old, barely an adult. My wife, on the other hand, is 27. The sheer absurdity of it all made my chest tighten. I love her, I really do. But this hollow ache inside me doesn't feel like something I can simply ignore. We have a daughter. We have a family. And yet, I've already made up my mind. Divorce is the only option. There's no question in my mind anymore. I know other men would back me up here. What I'm curious about is how women see this. What would they say? The part that stings the most is that I can't understand why she did it. I've always gone out of my way to show her love and appreciation. Flowers, chocolates, jewelry, those weren't reserved for special occasions. I'd buy her a bouquet from the little stand near the bus stop just because. Sometimes I'd add a nice bottle of wine to surprise her. When I knew she'd be home late, I'd prepare a special dinner, complete with candles, to make the evening feel magical. I cherished those small gestures and the joy they brought her. Thinking about those moments now fills me with a bittersweet longing. What hurts even more is the thought of losing my daughter. She's the light of my life, Cheating Secrets podcasts like me.